How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Good. You've had a long day today. Did you tell me you were up at 5 o'clock this morning already?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Wow. So when you hear the word Isaiah, give me a couple of, and I'm not just talking about the chapters we're focusing on. We're focusing on one of the pivotal chapters, the prophecy about the virgin birth.
I am always moved by the description of not just the prophesying of Jesus, of the virgin birth and all of that, but also just prophesying what Jesus is going to go through is in some ways more moving to me than even how the gospels spell it out.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, they give it from a different angle, don't they?
they do. When they're done with him, you can't tell if he is a man or an animal.
Yeah.
Just the stuff that he goes through is so um, it's just brutal and it's raw and just the connection between like, look, this was so very long before this actually happened.
I'm
And
going to ask you the same two questions that I asked the people on the street. So the first one is virgin birth. Is that actually real?
the idea of Jesus being born as a human to come and do what he did and be the son of God and Mary carrying him is not, it's not a small thing.
Why would God rescue the world through a child?
Children, especially infants, they are so very helpless. They are um they need everything. They cannot do anything on their own. When we first get here, when we first arrive, we are completely and absolutely dependent on the love, mercy, consideration, and thoughtfulness of everyone around us. There is nothing more vulnerable.
Why would God pick something that vulnerable to be the avenue of reconciling the entire world?
If Jesus is born a baby and raised by fallible people in this world, and God's will is done regardless of that, maybe in spite of and not because of that, we can look at that and we can also have a huge connection with Jesus. He went through teething. He, he was hungry. He cried. He faced all of the challenges that humans face from birth to, well, we
Yeah.
estimate his early 30s. And so if God's will be done in that vulnerable state, and we can also see, you know what, Jesus didn't show up 30 years old and do 3 years of ministry. And we were like, well, you don't have any idea how it feels. You have no idea how it feels to
No.
be little. And you don't have any idea how it feels to go through um, puberty and adolescence. You have no
Right.
idea how it feels to make these decisions. You have no idea how it feels to not get everything that you want. And what is
So it's
that?
like God picks us at our weakest in order so that we can relate. That
Right. It's he's that would be probably a much more concise
no.
way of putting it. He's relatable, you
Yeah,
know.
that's good. Okay, let's get into the text. So you were given Matt Isaiah 7 and 8. And so we'll read a couple of sections. If you want, you can pick sections to read, but maybe just give us an overview and some of your initial thoughts on these two chapters. What's happening in these chapters?
You have these armies rising up against God's people.
Yeah.
There's it is scary. There's a lot of anxiety and terror and wondering what to do. Then you have this prophet saying, "You all need to settle down. It's going to be okay in the end. It's going to be okay. It's going to be put right, but you're going to go through some stuff. I mean, it's not this, snap out of it, nothing bad's going to happen." He also tells of these people are going to go through it. I find it useful to read passages like this right now in our daily lives because we're really going through it too, to some extent, in some way. And it's going to be all right doesn't mean it's going to be all right now. You
Yeah.
know, there's a time lapse here. It seems like the ultimate, you need to trust God, but this
Yeah.
is going to hurt. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's good. So Isaiah tells Ahaz, don't worry about these two guys coming after you, because a virgin or a young maiden is going to be with child. And by the time that child's old enough to eat birds and honey, these guys won't be a threat anymore. We just assume Isaiah must be talking about Jesus. But if he is, then Ahaz, it's not relevant to what Ahaz is freaking out about. Like if there's two mountaintops, the short-term prophecy being fulfilled to Ahaz, and then there's a big future mountaintop where, Matthew 1 says, hey, this scripture got fulfilled when Mary, as a virgin, um, uh, became pregnant, and Mary even tells the angel, I haven't been with a man. How's this going to work? And so we know she actually was a virgin. So talk about what Isaiah's word to Ahaz means to Ahaz first.
He's like, also, by the by, God's going to bring you and your people to a government, a judgment worse than anything since the kingdom split. you know,
Yeah,
just
couple hundred years previous. Yeah.
yeah, just pretty and then we have the bees and the flies and there is no getting away from them. There's no escaping.
Coming down, rain is coming down, rain is coming down.